Hi, this is a tunnel bore for the Nether for the purpose of finding ancient debris in Minecraft Bedrock Edition. As you can see, it digs these tunnels using TNT and uncovers the ancient debris, which of course is blast resistant. It is a fairly simple tunnel bore compared to ones designed for the overworld because the blast resistance of netherrack is much lower, and because of course we now have the ancient debris blocks themselves, which are movable blocks that cannot be damaged by explosions. So I will show you how to build this. So to start off with, you need a space that's at least 20 blocks long, at least 5 blocks high, and at least 5 blocks wide for a single bore. But you can make it wider, you can make it as wide as your simulation distance. So this is not quite that wide, but you can chain multiple of these modules together. So I'm going to show you how to build a single one, and then I'm going to show how to connect more than one together. So you're going to start off by placing in 4 ancient debris in an L shape. You need 4 of these for each module. So I'd suggest mining a few of those by hand and then using them to build the tunnel bore itself. On top of these don't have to be iron blocks, they just have to be any block that can be moved by slime. So on top of that one, you want to put a dispenser, and then behind that you want a slime block and an observer. Now this is the dispenser that's actually going to dispense the TNT. So when this gets activated, this gets pushed forward 1 block, and it drops the TNT down onto here. And then this ancient debris will get pushed forwards so that the top one here shields the dispenser from the blast. So we need the piston that's going to push this forward, and a slime block and a sticky piston behind it. And you're going to want an observer facing into that slime block to power both of these pistons when that gets moved forward. And then you're going to want another slime block, sticky piston with another observer facing into that. And then you're going to want to come down 3 blocks with slime blocks, add in an observer and a piston, and then you're going to want to come out with these 2 slime blocks, add in another observer, another piston, and that's going to be the piston that pushes the ancient debris forward. And then we need to add in the mechanism to trigger this. So you're going to want to come like that with slime blocks, and then put 2 more slime blocks here and a piston on top of that. And so that should be good to go. And if we just trigger that piston, you should see the whole thing moves forward. Okay, so now we need the way to actually trigger this by hand and to be able to trigger more than one at once. So you want to come back 3 blocks, put a slime block there, put an observer on it, and then add 2 more slime blocks. And then we are going to have a piston that is going to push that forwards. And that piston is going to have some slime blocks behind it. These will go off to the other machines, and you want to have a observer facing into that piston. And then we need the trigger that will set this forward. So you want back here, you want a piston facing forward, a slime block, and a sticky piston. And you're going to want to put in a fence gate here. That will be what we use to actually trigger this. And then you're going to want a regular piston back here. I did say this was a sticky piston, right? Yes, this is a sticky piston. And then we want an observer facing into this fence gate. And a solid block here can be any solid block, and a slime block there to move the solid block. And then finally, we want an observer here, which will fire that piston when this moves forward. So now we should be able to test that by flicking this fence gate, and the whole thing should activate. And that looks good. So now at this point, this module is functional. We can add in TNT, and that should work. So it'll move forward, activate the TNT, and then blow a hole in front of it. Okay, so that's one module. And then if you want to build more of these modules, of course, so you want to have them 8 blocks in between them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you're going to put your next ancient debris here. And then you're going to build this second one up the same way that you did the first one. Okay, so now that you have this one in place, we want to connect this over. So you want to run this slime block line across, and you can run this down the line of all of your modules. You want to break the 2 slime blocks just to the left of this line here. So we're going to put in our piston there that activates it, our observer that triggers that piston. And then here, we need a sticky piston. We need a little L of slime blocks, a regular piston, and an observer to trigger that piston. And so now that should be good. And so when I activate this, this should trigger both of these. It didn't, because I forgot an observer. There also needs to be an observer right here. Okay. So now when I activate this, this should trigger both of these. And that looks good, so we can put TNT in this one too. And now we have a functional tunnel bore. So as I said, you can build this up out as far as simulation distance. So here I have one with 9 of these modules. And so when I activate that, you'll see that these all trigger. Now, when you're running this, one thing that you want to make sure you do is after each time you blast it, you go down and you clear out any lava. And you want to make sure that you replace the source block and not just block it off. You also want to check and see if there's any gravel that falls down like right in front of this, because if something happens and stops this from moving, then it could blow up your dispenser. So you want to check for any gravel, any lava, and of course you want to check for any ancient debris. We just found one here. And then once you check for that, then you come back here, send another block forward. And proceed on like that. So, hope you enjoyed that and found it useful. See you later.